Hey folks, Tracy here with Scrappy's Rustics. In this video, I'm going to show you an adult version of the Easy Bake Oven. I found this oven on Amazon, and we're going to use clear gloss resin, high gloss, and its demolding time is 12 to 24 hours. It's made by Alumilite, and we're going to use the Bibelo mold by IOD. It's new in the 2024 holiday release this year. And yeah, it's clear casting epoxy, high gloss. And this oven makes it cured and demold in 3 hours. So this is my very first time using it. You're watching it unfold as I'm doing it. The sound of it is about like a fan on maybe medium or high. It just heats it up and it cures them. So the cups are also on Amazon. They have measuring lines on them. The Alumilite, I do have an affiliation link on my website at scrappysrustics.com. I have a code for 10% off, and sign up for their emails because they have a lot of great sales, and just check it out. So this really worked. I'm wondering now, because I only could get one mold in there, I'm wondering if I could put a shelf in there and do two. Maybe it'll take another hour to do 2 levels. I'm not quite sure. So that would be something I'm going to test out. But it shut itself off in 3 hours, and indeed, you will see I was able to demold them. They weren't sticky or anything like that. So the cups, the resin, I don't even know what it's called. I'm calling it Easy Bake Oven for adults. The cups and the oven can be found in my Amazon store. That is also in my affiliate links on my website. And you want to stir the clear resin for at least 3 minutes. I made a lot. I made a whole cup full. And I should have, in hindsight, I should have poured them. I had measure marks on it. I should have poured both in the same cup, but I don't know what the heck I was thinking. But please make sure you scrape the sides, the bottom, all of that. And I was showing you how it was cloudy, and then it becomes clear. That's when the two have really mixed themselves together. But don't skimp on the mixing time, because I've done it. It won't cure. It'll be gooey mess, and it's just a nightmare. So you will have air bubbles. You want to try your best to, stir it, not be all crazy and pulling your stir stick out, but you're going to end up with bubbles. So tap it on the table a few times. Let it sit there for a couple of minutes, because it's not like the fast cast. With this, you got like 30 minutes, 40. It depends. The hotter your environment, the faster it's going to set up. The cooler your environment, the longer you're going to have. So remember that as well. So just tap it, and you'll see the air bubbles popping, and just let it sit for a little bit. So I'm glad I took my time. So this is real time. I want you guys to see how slow I am pouring this. You'll see this stuff is pretty thick. All resin's a little bit different, but the same. And it likes to not flow on the edges. So I like to go around the edges, go back and forth, and kind of work the resin the way I want it to go. Now, resin is highly toxic. You should wear a ventilator, have open windows, wear gloves. That is up to you as an adult on what you would like to do. But do know that resin is toxic. It's a beautiful breezy day here in Florida, so I do have my windows open. And the Alumilite here, it does have a pretty strong odor. There are a few brands out there that don't have an odor, yet they are still toxic. So, to each their own, and take whatever safety measures that make you feel comfortable. Now, the little tool that I'm using is made for resin, and it's just got a silicone tip on it, and that just helps me move my resin where I want it to if it doesn't flow into that. It's basically, most resin is self-leveling, but sometimes you got to help it out and drag it into places where it just doesn't want to flow to. And I just wipe it off when I am done. So I did speed it up for the rest, and the way I pour, you can't see too well, so I apologize for that. But there's only one way you can pour to get it in there and not make a mess. Make sure your table is level. That is very, very important. This side of my workstation is level. The part that I go live is not, so I use a leveling table. Those are in my Amazon store as well. If you ever need any help or have questions, just message me. Also, this mold and the cloche mold are becoming very popular for clear resin, and people are doing some amazing things with them. I'm going to have a video coming out. I'm going to link it in here when it's available, on all the different products that we've tested sprays and liquids to get a nice glass finish, clear finish. The cloche, you can get glass, but the ornaments and the bibelot here, you can't get a completely clear glass-like because it has a texture on it. It has a vintage texture in the mold itself, so it will never become crystal clear like the cloches will, because part of the cloches have no design, no nothing on them. So that's the difference with that. But in our private group, we've been doing a bunch of testing, and we came up, I'm sure there's lots of other products that could be used as well, but kind of what we had on hand. So you just, it's just like this. It's just this container. You put it in there, hit the button, and it will shut off in 3 hours by itself. I set my timer, and sure as shooting, it shut off in the 3 hours. And like I said, the noise, I tried to tape the noise, but I had to mute it so I could do a voiceover. But it's about the noise of a fan on medium. And I had a piece of hair in my mold on the left. You'll see me pick it out. And that's the first time that's actually happened to me. And I was really surprised. I was afraid to touch it because usually 3 hours in, if you touch it, it's a gooey mess. Like, you're like, ah, crap, I shouldn't have touched it. So it worked, y'all. It worked. But as you can see, it will only hold one mold level, unless you had smaller ones or 3D type molds, because you can put those in there as well. But for the IOD basic size, you can only get one. I'm thinking of putting a little wire shelf in there and see if I can get two. And there they are. They are cured. The bigger ones are still a little pliable, which that could be good, because if you wanted to wrap that around something rounded, now's the time to do it. So you could glue it on there and you could tape it, and it's going to hold its shape. But I set them on the table there for a little while. Underneath that parchment paper is my glass mat, and they're good to go. They're good to go. They're still not fully cured. Don't get me wrong. You're just able to demold them, which you cannot do otherwise in 3 hours. Like I said, it's 12 to 24 hours. And so I was pretty impressed. I'm pretty excited. And it's by Let's Resin. It's a simple piece. Kind of looks like you could put a cake in. So yeah, if you don't do resin anymore, you could carry a cake around in there. Oh, but thank you so much for watching.